Hello, soulmates. Welcome to the Honest Academy. My name is Justice. So, in this video, I'm going to be showing us different methods, about three methods that we can use to get our fitting off shoulder sleeve. How to now, I have a borderline. If you're sure that your paper is on a straight line, you don't need this borderline. But if you want to mark the borderline, that's okay. You can do half inch, you can do 1 inch. Now from the border line, we're going to be marking our cap height or the depth of the armhole. For us to get this, we're going to be dividing our bust by 12 plus 1. Our bust divided by 12 plus 1. Here I'm going to be marking 3.5. Just take the round of your bust and divide it by 12. Add 1 to whatever you have as your answer. And that is how we got to this point. So here I have my armhole depth or the cap height, right? And then we're going to be marking the length of our sleeve. From this borderline, we're marking the length of our sleeve. The length could be anything based on what you want. Here we have 8 inches, and we're going to be ruling the 8 inches across this way. So this is the length of our sleeve. Now to get the armhole that we need, the width of our armhole, if you're using a pattern, you got your armhole depth by dividing your bust into 6 plus 1.5, or you could just measure what you have as the depth of your armhole at the back and mark it here. But if you don't have that, just divide your bust into 6 plus 1.5. So here I'm going to be marking 6 inches. This is just an assumed measurement. And on this part too, we're also going to be marking our round um, sleeve base. I'm going to be marking 5 inches. So I'll be connecting this to this to take care of the lower part. Now it's remaining this other part. Now for us to get what we need at this part, we're going to be dividing, minusing our round shoulder minus upper bust, right? Minus upper bust. So let's say our round shoulder is 43 minus upper bust, which is 36, and that will give us 7 inches, right? That will give us 7 inches. Now this is the full measurements, and so we'll be dividing it into two for our two sleeves. 7 divided by 2, and that will give us 3.5. So for each of the sleeve, we'll be having 3.5, and that means that at this point, we're going to be marking 3.5 here, right? So we'll be connecting from this 3.5 to this part. Now note that we do not have sewing allowance here. This is done on the paper. So when you're transferring to your fabric, you can add your sewing allowance, half-inch sewing allowance on all the sides, or 1 inch depending on what you want. So we're going to be connecting. Please do not make this to be too deep like this. If you make it to be too deep, it's going to be too tight on your armhole and make it difficult for you to raise your hand. In as much as you can also make something like a straight line, but the slight slant is always the best. Okay, just a very slight slant. You can even use your hand to connect it. Don't make it too deep. And this is what we have for our off shoulder sleeve. So once you add your sewing allowance, joining allowance, everything, both added down, everything will be fine. Okay, I hope you understand this. This is one unique method of having an off shoulder sleeve. Now we're going over to having a second method of having our off shoulder sleeve. If you like this video, please subscribe to this channel. Right, so let's do the second one. For the second method, we're going to draft our normal basic sleeve. Please, for how to draft a normal basic sleeve, the link is in the description box. Kindly look into it. So here we have our normal basic sleeve. Then in cutting the off shoulder part, this means that in your off shoulder bodice, you did something like a minus 3 or minus 4 or minus 5 or minus whatever it is that you minused. So basically minus 4 is for almost everyone who does not want a high, who does not want a low neckline for the off shoulder. Okay, so from this tip of the sleeve, we're going to measure whatever it is that you minus from your off shoulder. Let's say here we're minusing minus 4, and we're going to keep our tape this way and mark where the minus 4 is at this point, right? So at that point we're going to rule a straight line across this way, and we're going to be cutting this place off. What remains is what is here that will be fixed into our armhole. So we're just going to cut it and we'll cut this place off. So here becomes our armhole line this way. Now there is another method you could use to do this, but that might not really work for all the time. It needs an adjustment. Okay, I do this a lot, but you just have to adjust it as you sew. This is just for a quick method which can also be used. A lot of persons do use it, and I've used it before. Now this is our off shoulder sleeve. For us to get what will be fixed into the armhole, especially when the minus is not much, let's say it's 4 inches, you can just place your 4 inches around here. In this case, you'll be minusing like half inch from it, or just use it as the sewing allowance, because most likely it's going to be loose. So if you want the sleeve to be loose, you can just do this. If you did a minus 4 or something, then from here now, place on your bodice, on your off shoulders blouse or whatever, and measure the depth of the armhole. Right, measure the depth of the armhole according to what you have on your bodice. That is a very sure way to measure the depth of the armhole, because you'll be working according to what you exactly have and not what you calculated or just assumed it is. Okay, so we also have here our off shoulder sleeve. So if this is making sense to you, please kindly give this video a thumbs up. The first method is just perfect, too perfect for our off shoulder sleeve. The second method is very okay. The third method, you can also try it out and see how it works. So have a nice day. Bye.